Hi, Karen here, and I'm here to talk to you today about attention deficit disorder. I know a lot of people think that they know what it's like to live with ADHD, but I think it's important that I share that even though people have a concept of what attention deficit disorder is, a lot of people are frustrated because they don't know how to deal with someone who has ADHD or ADD. So, first of all, attention deficit hyperactive disorder or attention deficit disorder, they're not distinguished anymore. The key thing to remember is it is not only a focus issue, it is a life issue. Although the child that you're actually dealing with may be a certain age, I think people forget that there is a developmental delay. So if you're dealing with a child who's essentially 10 years old, you expect them to be able to do certain things like a 10-year-old. But unfortunately, there is a developmental lag of about 3 years. So the question to ask yourself is, am I dealing with a 10-year-old or am I dealing with a 7-year old? Essentially, you are dealing with a 7-year old. So if you wouldn't ask a 7-year old to do it, then of course you're not going to expect a 10-year old to do it. Try to imagine yourself at the age of 10 and people are asking you to do things that you're trying to do, but you're just not mature enough mentally in order to do. There's a frustration that tends to build up. And then all of a sudden, you have this child in front of you that's exploding. And the reason why they're exploding is because they're being asked to do many things that they're just not capable of doing yet. As a parent, this puts us in a really bad situation. Now, let's look at a sixth grader. Essentially, a sixth grader is moving to middle school, or depending where you live, they're still in elementary school. However, they're at a point where people are expecting them to be just a little bit more responsible. Unfortunately, they're not able and they're not equipped to handle the organization that we put before them. Because someone who has attention disorder, essentially, they can be disorganized their entire life. But now you're asking somebody who is still very immature in order to be organized, and they are really struggling. So, ADHD definitely is not a learning disorder, it is a developmental disorder. And I wouldn't even call it a disorder, it's just a delay. They're just behind. So, if we want to connect with someone who has the ADHD and they're still growing up, we just have to accept the fact that there's some things they're just not capable of doing yet. And if we're trying to get them to do something that they're not really capable of doing, we are essentially now looking and heading toward creating a disorder in them. So this is where the anxiety comes in. This is the where the rebellion comes in. This is where the defiance comes in. It's only because we are expecting them to do something that they're just not ready to do yet. So essentially, if you want to connect with a child who has ADHD, if you want to connect with your child, the first thing that you have to accept is that they have a developmental lag, and to try to refrain from trying to ask them to do something, expect them to do something that they're just not developmentally equipped and able to do just yet. Now, that's not saying that it will never happen, but what it is saying is that we have to be careful that what we're doing is not causing the anxiety and the frustration in our children. Well, that's it for today. I will have more in our next topic on ADHD. Have a blessed day.